Let's bring right now the third-ranking Democrat of the U.S. House of Representatives, Majority Whip Jim Clyburn of South Carolina. He's also the chairman of the House Select Subcommittee on the Coronavirus Crisis. Jim, it is always great to talk to you. We look at what's going on right now, and we work together on some issues in the House, and I've known you for a long time, and I think I've been seeing this story as a white man from the Deep South for a long time. It's nothing compared to the pain and the heartache that you've experienced through the years for so long. When, for a civil rights leader like yourself, for a public servant like yourself, what hope? I'll ask you the same hope question. What hope can you give Black Americans that history is bending towards justice, and at some point we will get to the top of that mountaintop and see over to the other side?
Well, there's always hope, as Nancy Pelosi just said. Faith, hope, and charity. We always recite that. One of my favorite verses of the Bible is Hebrews 11:1. Faith, the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things unseen. I think about that verse a whole lot, and I keep faith in this system, and I hope for it. And sometimes the evidence is not seen. But you keep working, you keep the faith, and 9 times out of 10, things will come out all right on the other side. One of the people I've really enjoyed interacting with in the Congress is John Lewis. As you know, John and I first met back in 1960 when we were founding members of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, that's known as SNCC. I'm hearing someone else speak to me, so that's why I'm hesitant here. But John and I talk about this stuff a lot. And I really do believe, as he believes, he issued a statement a couple of days ago, that we have to keep working. We can't lose faith in this country. This country has the capacity to get things right when they aren't quite right. This coronavirus has revealed some flaws in our system, what I call fault lines, that we have to work to repair. As Alexis de Tocqueville told us, that's what makes this country great. Not that we're more enlightened than any other nation, but because we've always been able to repair our faults. So that is what we're trying to do here, repair some faults. And I think the capacity to do it is still within this country's grasp. We just got to get serious about getting it done.
Yeah, I've seen you do that so much in the House of Representatives and beyond. Hey, we have a former member of the House of Lords with us right now, Claire McCaskill. She has a question for you.
Good morning, Jim.
Good morning, Claire. How are you?
I'm well. African-American turnout in November may very well be the deciding factor in the future of this nation. The future of our democracy, the respect for the rule of law and the Constitution and the power of the presidency. Talk a little bit about what you think needs to be done between now and November in light of the crisis of race we are facing right now. What are good advice to people on the ground of ways to engage and do a better job of getting African Americans out to vote, because our democracy may very well depend on it this year?
I think you're quite right about that. I've been saying for the last several days that I think we're at the crossroads in this country. And I think it is time, I think we should, for all good men, and those of us who learned how to type early, it is time for all good men to come to the aid of their country. And I would include women in that as well, especially since that's where so much of the difference have been made in recent years. And so what I would say to young people, most especially, irrespective of what you may be hearing via the air, remember, We have now found out that what was going on back 4 years ago was stuff that was just made up, stuff that was put out there, turning people against each other. We must keep our eyes on the prize, as John Lewis would tell us. And the prize for all of us is a country that is ever moving forward in search of being a more perfect union. That is what we're always in pursuit of. And anything that comes into the equation that's not a part of that pursuit, we ought to cast aside. We now know social media is great. I enjoy interacting, especially with my daughters, over what may or may not be taking place over social media. But the fact of the matter is, we got to understand that there is a dark side to this form of communication as well. We saw it very pronounced back in 2016. It is still out there. It is still taking place. And this president is enabling that. And we know that. So let us maintain our pursuit of a more perfect union. And how do you do that? You do that by participating in the process. When I hear people say, let's withhold our vote, let's don't participate until things come out exactly like we want them to come out. Come on, give me a break about that. Things will not always come out exactly the way you would want them. You keep working at it. You keep gathering supporters for your cause. And there are a lot of them out there. Joe Scarborough and I worked together in the House of Representatives. We didn't agree on much politically, but we had respect for each other. We kept an environment among ourselves that allow us to work together. And that's what we've got to do. We know what we need to do in this country. We know that we've got to restructure. I don't care what Ms. McConnell says. We got to restructure our healthcare system. We got to restructure our educational system. It's a shame now that so many kids are not going to be able to go into the next grade because they did not have the internet in their homes and they could not continue to be educated online. So we got to make sure that every child gets the ability or the capacity to get educated online. Everybody gets telehealth. We've got to do that. Broadband is I would like to call it the next greatest thing of the 21st century. If I've got time, let me share a little testimony with your listeners. A testimony given in the Rural Tennessee Church when we were about to celebrate the 50th anniversary of rural electrification. A gentleman stood up in church and says, brothers and sisters, I want to tell you this. The greatest thing on earth is to have the love of God in your heart. And the next greatest thing is electricity in your house. To me, the next greatest thing of the 21st century is broadband internet in every home. That's what it's going to take to get healthcare out there, to get education out there, to get the infrastructure that we call the information highway. It's got to get built. And if we do that, that is the way that we will interact with each other. We know what electrification did for rural, the rural South. Of course, the rural West as well, and Midwest. But electrification made the 20th century the really big impetus for all of us. In the 21st century, it's got to be broadband. It'll cost $86 billion to get broadband into every home. I think it's an investment worthwhile making. And it's in the HEROES Act, and that's why Speaker Pelosi wants to see us pass the HEROES Act. We need to have community health centers, federally qualified community health centers all over this country. It'll cost around $65 billion worth the expenditure. If we had those kinds of expenditures, how many jobs will be created in getting broadband into every home? How many jobs will be created getting community health centers for everybody? 10, 20, 30, spend at least 10% of this money. Where 20% or more of the population's been stuck beneath the poverty level for the last 30 years. I've been advocating that now for more than 10 years. I'm pleased to see so many of the presidential candidates this past year saying that it's a great way to get these communities uplifted. So these things, Clara, we've got to get people to understand. This is what this election means to you. This is what it means to your family. And this is what it means to your community. And to the extent that Joe Biden can make those three connections, and that's not the trilogy, but make those three connections will determine the outcome of his election.
All right, Majority Whip Jim Clyburn of South Carolina, thank you so much. It's always great to see you, Jim. Hope to see you in South Carolina very soon. And
look forward to it. And we're going to get open back up, and there's going to be a meal waiting for you. Lizard Thicket.
I will be at Lizard Thicket with you. Looking forward to it. Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.